It looked like things, when they were 13-5 down, were going to just repeat the first half, and they were going to be torn apart again. Doesn't come through, though. They end up finding themselves in what I would definitely consider to be a pretty good position. 11 consecutive rounds. 3 times Tricked had an opportunity to close a round out. Two of them were just botched. Good retakes by Nordavind that you definitely can't take away from them. The other was 2 team kills. That's got to be the motivating one. They end up winning out the knife round due to the first time I've seen the hide-and-seek strategy outside of ESEA Open. And as we come towards a 4 versus 5, they've lost the opening advantage. Starting out on the CT side gives them a little bit more comfort ground because we definitely saw some weaknesses on the terrorist side in the previous map. This is the middle ground, though, a map that we talked about a little bit before the series even started that we would like to see because this is actually a comfortable middle ground for both teams. They tend to put up good performances and a reasonably similar win rate, but you take into consideration the level of teams that Tricked are playing against versus Nordavind. I would favor Tricked coming into this matchup. That said, a lot of mistakes were made previously, and we've seen Nordavind currently win 3 out of 4 pistol rounds. And one of the reasons Nuke was so close. They won both pistols and managed to follow it through with 5 free rounds in total. As you move towards this one, it's certainly looking to repeat the similar storyline, I suppose. Swinging on in, Harrow's pretty low, but not going to be taken down. Or pretty close to getting headshotted, actually. Just saw him light up red. He's actually 84 HP, which isn't too bad. And Tricked, going in for a save by the looks of things. They've still got full armor. And with it being Inferno, a map where we see the highest rate of force buys on the CT side, achieving a save here with 100 armor on each allows them to get the head armor out in the next round, avoiding being taken down by perhaps some of the SMGs that we'll expect to see Nordavind buying. From what I recall, Nordavind bought 4 SMGs in one round previously, which, I mean, it's a really rough spot to be in. If you're buying 4 SMGs, yes, you will play the next round as a bonus round when they eventually buy, but you're forced to. And if you lose that, you probably still won't have cash to get a decent buyout. You'll be on weaker weapons. So it gives your opponents an opportunity to come back into it. But let's take a look at what they buy, I suppose, first of all. 1 AK making an appearance already. There's the SMG from Croman. I expect, just based on past history, that Halzerk will take one. Tensky as well. He's got the cash for an AK. Goes for Galil with utility. Halzerk, SMG 2. So 3, it's not so bad. I'm glad that Tensky at least takes the Galil out. Trick, though, in with the force buy as predicted. Acor and Stush having themselves some head armor to work with. You've got a P250 on Acor as he saves up a little bit of cash for the future buy round so he can take the AWP out. And we've seen him play incredibly well on the op. He finished the most CT halves with a huge positive on the opening duels. The previous map, though, it was Borup. I think he was 5 for 0 in opening duels on the CT side, which was pretty impressive. He was often getting aggressive over towards short. What's stuck on his head there? It's weird. So moving into this round, look, Nordavind have an advantage. There's no secrets about that, but Tricked have got the weapons to cause a big upset here. The Mag 7 up close capitalizes onto 1. Now they're going to be very cautious about pushing this angle. He knows they're going to flash over, or at least his teammate does. Jumping on top, doesn't find anything. Auto Director, fantastic job as we see the A site. Somehow, though, Bubsky's managed to make it out of there without taking any damage whatsoever as Borup went into support and is now down to 40 HP. They do start to rotate. I understand where this is coming from. You anticipate Nordavind are going to expect you to have a stack towards B at this point and to have rotated in, but as they rotate out, Nordavind hear that. They know roughly what's going on. Smoked off, though. Will they want to push through this? Probably not. Information is going to be given over to the A players kind of soon. There are 4 of them there, and if they maintain that 4-man hold, which, look, it's a gamble, and in this kind of round is where you need to make a gamble, but now as the utility comes over, they realize their mistake. Acor is going to try to play towards the back of the bomb. There's nowhere for him to go. He's just completely Molotov'd out. Really nice by Nordavind. Now all they need to do is eliminate him. There's only one angle where he can be, but they're not checking it. Misses all the shots, but somehow gets away with it. Takes down the bomb planter. That gives time for Trick to rotate back in and try to get some of these kills on the board. It's a 1 versus 2. Bubsky with a Mag 7. No chance. As Croman quickly eliminates him with a headshot, followed by the body. 2-0. Nordavind win that round, but they suffer heavy, heavy casualties. And the fact that they bought so many SMGs is going to hurt them. Getting off to a good start on the terror side. I mean, already getting more on the T side than Trick did on Overpass. It's fair to say. With 2-0 on the board. Look at the buy that Nordavind have. They've got themselves an SMG and a Tech 9, 2 AKs, and a Galil. They're up against the Eco, so lots of chances to farm a little bit of cash. If Rubino can find a couple of kills here, he'll boost himself up to a position where he can get himself a buy. and things won't look terrible for him. If he doesn't, though, he'll be forced over to stick with that Mac 10. But on the T side, it's not so bad. If you're forced to take an SMG, you can play a faster strategy, or you can wait for one of your teammates to potentially fall or find an opening and upgrade your rifle. Upgrade to a rifle. Smoke in. Bubsky goes for the peek. Nice shot onto Chrome, and there's the opening duel going his way once more as Trick scare them away from B, knowing now that they're on a pistol. That's all they're on. Just a one upgraded pistol in the hands of Bubsky. He makes a little bit of presence towards A as well. Now they think they're up against probably a heavier investment than they really are. Bubsky in there with a second. He continues to get aggressive. Eventually realizes maybe not the best idea is he's got the only weapon that they can really do damage with. But that's not true anymore. As Borup swings around with an AK, he'll definitely be trying to save that over to the next round. They've already got good damage done here, keeping Nordavind's economy very low early on. With Stush having a deagle and no armor, you imagine he's going to get aggressive here. What's worrying me is the fact that Borup is coming into support. If they find kills, yes, they can absolutely go for this, but with a Mac 10 still in play, I mean, that will shred all of these guys. Borup probably won't win that duel. He has to hit shot number 1. And he does onto Tensky at least as they close in the distance towards the bomb site. But now with the AK all alone, 1v2, his position known. It's unlikely he gets out of here. Nice shots onto Hara, who, despite returning the shot, Borup maintains the composure. But there it is. The Mac 10, as soon as the bullet lands onto him, he starts looking at the sky. The gun kick is unbearable as it goes 3-0. But fantastic damage. And also, I think that actually paid off. Sure, they lost an AK-47, but the damage that they managed to do to Nordavind, taking 4 weapons out of rotation in that round, leaves Nordavind on a last chance buy. If they lose this round, Trick tap themselves straight back into the half with a 3-2 scoreline before any opportunity for a rebuy comes through from Nordavind. It's a very good opportunity for them. 4 AK-47s and an SG to come through. It's going to be a highly contentious round, with Trick starting it out a little bit aggressive towards Banana. The smoke down, but the Molotov stopped them from seizing that control all too efficiently. Luckily, they still have another smoke that they can use to resmoke. The flashes go over. Bubsky gets blinded by the second one. Not expecting that, but the spray down is there! Borup taking 3! Bubsky did a lot of damage, but Borup's the one closing that one out. Another opening for him, and again, he's a player that was 5 for 0 on the CT side on Overpass. An absolutely incredible 3K in Banana, granting the round to Trick basically instantaneously. It's a 1v4, a position we saw Rubino almost clutch out over on Overpass. He found 3 kills as they pushed him one by one. The first 2 were forgivable, but eventually the trade did come in on the last remaining players, as I think Hunden won out the round in the end, the 1v1. This time, playing much safer, much more passive. The problem with that, they haven't spotted him out at all as he closes towards the bomb site. Hunden is in a little bit of danger. He is spotting this angle periodically, and now they know where he is. They haven't lost a player for it. Stush is still full HP. He's been spotted, though. The smoke saves his life as he's not forced to leave that angle. And now Tensky just wants to get back towards the... Oh, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't want to go back towards the B bomb site. As he eventually takes an op, with 22 seconds left, he'll attempt to save. With their current situation economically, saving that op does grant them some amount of a buy, but it's going to be very weak. The weapons alongside it won't be quite as happy and healthy. There's a lot of pistols, actually. Because with Tensky saving over $800, they're presumably going to go for a force instead of having him double eco. He'll drop that to Halzerk, I assume, who takes armor, drops him a pistol back. It's still not an it's a shaky situation for sure. They're going to go for the force buy, and there you see the weaker weapons already coming out. The Mac 10s. Croman can buy himself an AK, but he'll have to go without head armor, and instead he wants to take the extra utility for his team alongside a Mac 10 given to Halzerk. Oh, given to Rubino, sorry. But Halzerk playing on the Mac 10, that's an interesting decision. Croman going for the opening duel towards Banana, doesn't find anything. Going to be bailing back on towards the bottom. Croman had the spawn for it, but doesn't manage to land the kill. And now, being bombarded by utility, he's down to 21 HP. Time to go find Halzerk. Give him an op. There you go. Things restored to normality. Took me a second to realize what was going on there. I like the decision to give it to Croman off spawns, but failing to land anything, the risk doesn't pay off as he goes down to 21 HP. Halzerk finding himself just pushing up angles, scoped in, trying to maybe catch one of them off guard. I don't think Croman will be getting aggressive, and thankfully not. Just hiding behind the wall. He's so low in HP right now. Gotta leave it to the rest of the players to do it. Halzerk creeps over towards the side. Hunden's the one holding this, but he's holding the off angle. If he goes in for the peak, he could be in a lot of danger. Once Halzerk posts up on that angle. Utility being thrown over now. Cut off some of the angles and hopefully allow these SMGs to have a good time. Borup takes Croman down. The spray isn't quite there, but it is for Rubino. Taking the head off through the smoke on the Mach 10. He's not been spotted going back over towards Coffins as he goes for the plant, though. They've got to be cautious of the spam. Hunden spraying away is in a little bit of danger as Tensky pushes him back. Stops him from spamming away. As he hears the deagle, he got a little bit scared and now into a 4v4. Bomb site control for Nordavind. Smoke goes down. It's an interesting one from Strush as they peek over. Do they have Molotovs in play? No, they have no utility to cut out these dark players. And this is the problem. They'll take Rubino down. Okay, they eventually take Rubino down, but they don't expect Tensky to be here. There's no way they do. Acor finds one, but we're all about Tensky because he can't get the defuse. Even if he found the second player in Banana, there's literally no world in which he checks 10. And actually taken down in the end, Tensky is able to pick up an SG and walk away with his life. 17 HP left. Tricked really not having a good time right now. They start out poorly on this map by losing the pistol. At least they find the previous round, but it's taken right on back and leaves them now in a last chance buy. Nordavind still don't have control over their economy though, even despite winning the previous round, only with 2 players alive. They come into this with still 2 Mach 10s to play with. An SG and AK and an AWP. All the main rifles for them. Rubino gets lit down very early on to 47 HP by a Molotov straight down Banana. As the flash goes down in Banana, no aggression to come on the back of it. They've pushed Bubsky off the angle for just a second, but he's posted back up. Oh, now going aggressive. This could end quite poorly for him. Flash goes through, he turns back around. They're up close now, they'll be able to peek him with multiple players, but Halzerk's taken down straight away. He makes it out alive as well. That's a nice free kill for Bubsky. Pulling him again into a decent position now, 2 for 0 in opening duels. 3 for 0 actually with that one. Nice little lead for him. There's a second kill on the board as he bails around, going over towards the coffins. Borup's got some angles as he jumps down with the CZ. They're all gone. A very brave move, but trusting in Hunden's flashbang. And it works perfectly. The only player not flashed was very low in HP and so torn apart very quickly. Turned into Swiss cheese and put over 4-2. Tricked finally get around on the board. And it was a mix buy as well. The T's call a timeout. Their economy isn't great. In fact, Hara and Rubino are probably asking for a force buy at this point. The decision being made over the timeout. And it's not so much about whether they force buy or not. I think it's more about where they go with it. I'm potentially discussing the feasibility of eventually buying with 2 Mach 10s in play. We've seen them be relatively efficient so far. But no, it is going to be the force buy in the end. As the whole team invests Tensky on 38. I thought he might have kept some of that to allow an AWP to come through, but I suppose the op hasn't been all too fruitful for them. It's been more the faster strategies that have prevailed, so they decide instead to resort to it, or to revert back into that situation. The CT's now calling themselves a timeout, needing a little bit of extra time. With the double op setup in play, I think Tricked... Hold on, let me take a quick gander. So in the previous map, we commented on... So Acor started out, map number 1, 4-for-0 CT side opening duels, and he finished like 6-for-2 or something around that region. On the previous, he was losing more, I think, CT sided than opening. It was all on Borup, really, to find those opening duels. This time, rounds have been initiated by Bubsky 3 times. Lost none of them. But Acor yet to get on the scoreboard. Now that the ops are out, though, not yet to get on the scoreboard, but just in terms of openings. He has got himself 2. Nade goes through, very fast push. Molotov's finding kills. Borup and Bubsky finding all the frags at the moment as we're down to a very, very swift conclusion to the round. You've only got Halzerk left alive. A Mag 10 in play. A 1 versus 4. And a situation that definitely doesn't go his way the majority of the time. Bubsky on 9 kills after that little blitz. As Nordavind now definitely take themselves the eco. It's not a great spot to be in for Nordavind, having to take an eco right now, but although they're decently, like, okay, so the eco will bring it 4-4. It doesn't look too bad. T side of Inferno, that's perfectly fine. The issue is that because they're taking a full eco and not buying any pistols whatsoever, which is the right call, considering the situation, it should allow Trick to walk away without losing any players. But Hunden dies straight away to the Glock rush. Now you've got an isolated Stush on the bomb site, holding in the pit. He captures 1, but then taken down straight away by the upgraded AK. This is getting worrying. What I was building towards was this is bad for Nordavind because the CTs will gain control over their economy. But somehow, they managed to make it to the bomb site and find a bomb plant, alongside 2 kills, alongside 2 weapons upgraded. Decent damage on the 10s, keep the nades at least. That's the disadvantage of having no armor as they push towards the bomb site. Rubino is spotted out because he was reloading. At least the sound cue is heard. And with control now, Nordavind are the ones that have to push out. They have to go into the open. As they push on through, Defuse is actually just stuck and found. Eventually, Bubsky's taken down, but it doesn't matter all too much. Tricked find themselves the round win, and AWP carried forward. And I say it doesn't matter all too much. It absolutely does. Nordavind have done so much damage in a round that they came into with full Glocks. It's pulled back into a 1 versus 1 in the end with the bomb defusal just going off. That's a massive round. That's far more than they should have obtained. And the whole thing, the whole reason I was saying that it didn't look good for Nordavind, like I said, that should have been Tricked's round to build up a stable economy. Instead, they put themselves into a position that if they lose this round, Bubsky won't be able to buy. And the others that were sitting around 7 and 6k are now much lower. So the comfort level is definitely decreasing as Nordavind continue with a decent scoreline, 4-4. Now the aggression moves in towards the A-bomb site as an opening. Oh, Acor gets a collat! The 2 kills pull it back into a 2-man advantage, although he's taken down eventually. Just manages to trade back, and it's all down to Rubino. Trying to pull a 1 versus 2 off. Smoke goes down. He's got the op. Gets 1 with the quick no-scope on the Borup, but Bubsky quickly eliminates him and brings it 5-4. Tricked back in the driver's seat for now, but again, losing so many players. Their economy is just going lower and lower, and this is the thing we talked about on the previous map. If you're finding 3+ kills on the T side, as time goes on, the CTs will actually be in a worse spot. Because you keep on chipping away at their economy, leaving them down to SMGs even at some point. Another timeout comes through from the terrorist side, as they're again in a bit of an economic middle ground as to what they want to buy. They can get out a majority of AKs, lacking utility, or they can go for, well, yeah, they can get a majority of AKs, some util, and then Halzerk maybe take a Mac 10 alongside full utility. So it wouldn't be terrible, but you'd be forced into making very early decisions on what bomb site you're pushing, or dry peeking later on. But right now they decide to go in for the full investment without the AKs. They're focusing primarily towards utility. And again, this kind of feeds into what we talked about from Nordavind before. The fact that they've been pretty successful when they've gone down to these kind of buys. Which bring them, obviously, into much faster rounds in general. Bubsky, he's being burnt alive. Down to 29 HP through that smoke. As he pushed down into Banana. Smoke eventually went down on top of it, but took a little bit. As Nordavind begin the push towards the A-bomb side, there are still going to be 2 players here to defend it. You've got Acorn, Strush, the rotation coming in quite quickly as well from Hunden as the opening kill goes towards... Oh my god, Halzerk! Long range Mac 10! Himself and Rubino are finding all the kills. Tensky comes in with another. And this is again, Nordavind in with the faster strategy. When they play slow, Trick figure them out. And when you've got a player like Hunden there, you know, the big brain from Dane. The big brain Dane. Damn it. Messed that one up. But when you've got Hunden there, you expect that, right? He's going to have a good read on how you're playing it when you take that a little bit slower. And a map like Inferno where he's perfectly comfortable. I mean, Trick have shown their willingness to play this map multiple times in the past. But when you take it fast, when you just straight blitz, you get in their face. That's where success can be found. Right now, you're seeing a big upstep in performance from this T side. Nordavind, I didn't expect to do quite this well. I mean, already 5 for 5, trading the rounds back and forth, which again looks better for them. Not only are they trading the rounds back and forth, which is a bonus for the T side because you chip away at the CT's economy, but when they lose rounds, they're leaving Tricked with like 2 players left alive, which again chips away at their economy. So all things considered, Nordavind are winning this in that aspect of the game alone, plus the fact that the more rounds they build up on the T side, the better. I mean, Inferno can be a map that is all just about grinding a couple of rounds at a time over on the terrorist side. If this was 5 to 3 at this point, you would even say it's a decent scoreline. So the ability to keep this so close, with the fact that Trick struggled so much on the terrorist side in the previous map, it does get a little bit worrying for the Danes. Bubsky getting aggressive inside that smoke, trying to pull off what Tensky was doing in the previous map. It's not happening for him, but luckily Borup's the one to open up the round. Yet again now sitting 3 for 1. Himself and Bubsky have been opening things consistently over towards Banana. We've yet to see things go Acor's way, deploying the AWP a couple of times and 0 for 2 in opening duels. As we look towards the A site, Acor is just waiting for someone to push on down. Tensky's making a lot of noise up above as they aggress in through long, though. That noise has dragged the player from long to play onto the site itself, giving up that control. Now, they have got pit control, but the problem is, look at the weapon they're peeking it with. It's going to be... Oh, Honda, no. He goes backwards. He's taken out. Smoke goes down for Acor, but he's dropped on. Can't pull the CZ out in time. And just like that, Nordavind walk away with a 1 versus 3 and a 6th round on the board alongside the bomb plant. Borup has the AK, but not a lot of money for the next round. So presumably just going to be carrying this forward to the next. It's a disappointing situation for Tricked. Despite being so good on map number 1, the fall off in performance has been tangible ever since Overpass. And whilst it's not over yet by any means, I mean, Tricked can still come in with their own quite good terrorist side. And we saw it from them in map 1 of Nuke. It just wasn't quite there on Overpass. It was the map pick of Nordavind as well. So you can give them a little bit of leeway. But one thing that is also tangible is the bit of a fall off of performance. We commented after map 1, I think Hunden finished 27 for something. He top fragged, which is quite unusual for him. Now sort of settling into what we've seen from him in the past. Still doing pretty well on assists. He's got 4 in total. 3 by damage, 1 by flash. And Tricked are still playing pretty well around each other. The opening duels have been consistently found on Banana, whether it's been Bubsky flashing in for Borup, or Bubsky straight peeking by himself. Coming into this round, Bubsky is alone. He's sitting on B with a USP, hoping that they go to A, where they've completely stacked up. And you can see that right now. 3 players over towards short, 1 on long. But it's all about B. As the spams go on through the smoke, Bubsky's getting nothing. Now the bomb site seized. Tricked would be... I mean, they've got a kit on Borup, but really he needs to allow the USPs to go forth and see what they can land by themselves. Hauserk's taken down. The AWP now retrieved. They can go for this. Hunden's eliminated, but still the AK and the AWP in play. Nice shot by Stush. This is getting a little bit worrisome for Nordavind. As Tricked close in on their positions, they've retrieved 3 weapons, and very smart A-Core. Instead of running over to the weapon, sometimes E is bugged because there's a nade near it. It doesn't work. So he shoots the grenade away, then picks up the weapon with E, so he doesn't have to expose himself to the bomb site. A very small detail, but one that may have saved his life in a lot of scenarios and allowed him to carry forward an AK for his team. What a fantastic round for Tricked, considering the buy they had into it. That's a very solid outcome. Nordavind, though, are still massively ahead. 7 rounds on the terrorist side. They also call another timeout, as things didn't really go according to plan there on the exits, or on the post plants in general. Registering their new strategy, knowing that A-Core will again have an AWP in play, and although he hasn't been doing too well for opening duels, winning none so far this map, this could be where things change. Another thing that's kind of surprised me about Tricked, even what we saw over at Copenhagen Games from them, and just in general throughout the Hotshot series and all the other tournaments that we've caught them in recently, but those 2 in particular because it was paying close attention to them. Bubsky tends to be probably the strongest player on the lineup a lot of the time, and we haven't seen him perform towards the top, on top, let's say. So far, he hasn't been the standout player on either. With Borup for me in the previous map over on the CT side, and Hunden, obviously, map number 1 was incredible. Shots onto Hauserk bring him down to 27 as he crosses towards the top of the middle. They've already inched their way all the way up there. But seizing only a little bit of short control with back apartments, Nordavind have not got the greatest map control, really. With no presence towards Banana at the moment. That obviously being spotted out by Bubsky. Borup playing further back with a flashbang in hand. And this is dangerous. This has caught them off multiple times. Although I think it's been Borup generally that's the one peaking. Bubsky coming in with the majority of flash assists. Indeed for the whole team. It's 3 on the board. Nordavind are going to rotate back down to B. This is where they get the chance to test their strategy. Bubsky hears them. Flashbang's going to go over. There it is. Now Bubsky gets to swing out onto fully blind players, but only gets himself 1. Borup hears at least 2 coming, both of which are in fact very low, and they must suspect him to be here. Someone had to throw that flash, but he doesn't find anything. Hauserk takes down Hunden. We're into a 2v3. Nordavind have control of the bomb site and a free bomb plant. Tricked even going for a save by the looks of things. How does that round fall apart for them? Bubsky with 1. Okay, he gets unlucky. Spammed down while blind. But the damage was already done to both Hauserk and Hara. And Borup peeks out, but just doesn't shoot in time. Now an 8th round for Nordavind. This far surpasses the performance we expect from them coming into this series. I said towards the start of it that Tricked looked better statistically on every single map, and that was on the back of them playing against higher level teams in general. I think the most recent decent level team we've seen Nordavind play against was probably X3D Max, or as they're currently known, French Frogs, and they've played Ancient here. That's kind of extending back 2 months or so. Those are the best teams they've played. They had a decent game against Ancient, close ones against French Frogs, but then you take a look at Tricked and how they've been performing, and it's been far better. They're taking the likes of No Chance, X3D Max, again, Super Yimmy. They've played 4s twice, quite recently as well, and always kind of struggled on the CT side. I think that's one of their issues here. 5 for 10 on both times they've played them. As we swap over to the T, I think there's a little bit more hope for them, but already into this round, you're seeing 2 opening kills go towards Tricked, finally getting advantages. They are mostly a terrorist-sided team on Inferno, but even at that, if they finish with 5 rounds, it's certainly not enough. They need to pull this back, these next 2 rounds, and they've at least started it off well. But we've seen Nordavind pull back from these situations a couple of times across this series. The last round kind of highlights that. As the flash goes over, the players are going to push towards the site. Just doesn't receive any form of vision obscurity from it. Drops the bomb and gets the second. It's a quick sweep up. Trick don't lose a single player. But it's too late for that economic game to really come into effect. As we've already seen, 14 rounds played out. It doesn't matter if they've got money if they lose this one, because they won't. They'll have $800 if they lose or win this one as we go over to the next half. Nordavind wanting to close it out 9-6 in their favor. And honestly, that's what I want to see come through for them, because they do tend to have pretty good terrorist sides here as well. Like, both teams perform better on the T side, from what we've seen of them in the last couple of weeks anyways. Nades down through Banana, give an opening kill as Rubino falls into a 5 versus 4. But the aggression's about to come in on A. You can see that there's multiple players already pushing up. Up on top of the balcony, Stush is holding down. Halzerk might catch an angle onto Hunter, is super low. It's actually the nade that takes him down. A quick shot by Acor, and Halzerk's lucky to be alive at this point. But maybe he's not so lucky. A Stush up above the smoke takes him down. The spams dealing a lot of damage to Shush, but he returns a nade right back in your face, Hara. So he's on 55 HP, pushed down by 2 players, and although he finds the first one, the spray isn't quite there to connect it in the end. 8-7. A decent recovery, all things considered, coming through by Tricked. And considering they lost the pistol as well, you can give them a little bit more leeway. Now as we move to the terrorist side, what is generally the best for Tricked, this is their opportunity to close it out. A technical pause comes through. We know Tensky's been having some trouble with his PC earlier on. You can see odds-wise at the moment, Nordavind are favorites. And I think, again, although I'm saying multiple times, yeah, Tricked are better on their terrorist side, so are Nordavind. The problem is, you think back to the previous map. It didn't seem to be map-specific, the problem that they were facing. Whenever they went for aggression on the terrorist side, they were losing opening duels. But we saw crazily aggressive plays from Halzerk with the AWP, which hopefully we will see change this time. As I think Inferno in general is a much more linear map. I say that because Toilets on A, where Halzerk was playing, is much more open to approach, right? You can take it how you like to. And unfortunately, a lot of the time, when he was pushing down through Toilets, you can lead yourself into this false sense of security that you're holding a relatively tight angle with an AWP, but the problem is they can split you from 2 different angles coming in through the doorway on short if they've pushed up there. And unless you had somebody who, I think the other side player was Tensky, but he was consistently playing back on the bomb site while the op got aggressive, and it left them in this very staggered position where even the opening duels that Halzerk had, which I think he was 6 for 6 in the end, he was traded back a lot of the time, even when he won opening duels. And the same wasn't said when he lost them. But even with that in play, Tricked often found themselves, as soon as they found that kill, boom, they rushed towards the site. At that point, it was usually mid-round, a minute in. They had a bit of a read. They had 2 players on A. And so they got torn apart by flashbangs, and they pushed 1 by 1, leaving players down towards connector when they were in like a 4v5. It was a really weird situation from them, all in all. They were essentially trusting that they already had the bomb site before that actually came through. As we come into the pistol round now, you're going to see a kit coming through on Hara, already deploying 1 flashbang. He's got 1 more to use if they do get a little bit too frisky. But Tricked, not yet committing. They will soon. They've started to rotate up their final players. As a site attack looks very, very likely, Hara comes through with the flashbang. He's going to get aggressive on the back of it. They turn, but not in time. He's at least able to capitalize on 1 kill. As Tricked start to close in towards this bomb site, things are looking a little bit scary. They've got the bomb plant down now for sure. It's just finding that kill. It's all down to a 3 versus 2. The retake up against Glocks is never ideal. The one thing going for Croman is that he's now on the... Who's typing in chat? Stop it, goddammit! They're ticking away. But the ticking away on the bomb is also coming through, so they're pretty time limited as they push through. A nice kill for Borup, but now they can just hide. They can wait for Croman to make a move, walk into them, and although Borup goes out for the peek, which was a little bit risky, he lands the shot and brings it 8-8. Tied up, Tricked on the verge of taking the lead, and you gotta say, we spent the first 10 rounds or so, probably 8 rounds or so, highlighting that Borup was having a pretty good time. The man has 22 kills for 7 right now. And again, far surpassing the performance of anybody else. Map number 1, it was Hunden, then Bubsky. Well, no, then Borup, really. I mean, Borup was kind of my favorite over in the previous map, and doing exactly the same here. One thing we're seeing from Nordavind, though, is the fact that despite having quite a tight-knit performance in general, across the last 2 maps, Hara is actually the player stepping it up. If I recall correctly, in the first map of Nuke, he was actually one of the bottom fraggers. He wasn't having a fantastic time. And now we see why we have best of 3 series in general. BO1s can go either way. But it essentially comes down to the best of 1 on Inferno. They've learned a lot about each other as time has gone on. Hopefully, we've learned a lot about our CT defense over on the Nordavind side. Because again, lots of aggression came through on Overpass that I didn't like to see. Halzerk's got the deagle, misses the shot, but the spam is good to find at least one. As they trade out, they eventually claim what should be the A-bomb site, but what they don't know is that there's a sneaky, beaky Rubino there as well as Tensky. They may eventually take 10 down, but there's no way they expect Rubino to have stacked up here already. He swings out and he finds one, but oh, on 11 HP, Bubsky comes out on top with a quick double. And it's 9-8. Tricked barely claimed that round. And the sneaky play from Nordavind, while close, ultimately didn't go their way. I feel so sad for Rubino. He made such a good play. And he's been so close to winning a lot of these clutches, but just never able to pull it off. Tick-tocking away. These guys are pretty chatty, aren't they? Pretty sure there's no way to mute that. Maybe I'm dumb. So pause comes through. It's quickly cancelled. I'll check it back in a minute. I gotta see if it's if it is tech issues again. Tensky was having PC issues on Overpass, I believe. Yeah, would have been, as we hopped into that. I think we had to change servers then to fix it up. Hopefully it's all good for him. But finally Tricked are back in the lead, and now coming in with a full SMG buy outside of Bubsky. They're facing off against a pretty weak investment, but look at this. Both Hara and Halzerk are holding down on A with Zeus's in hand. I'm surprised nobody's gone towards Banana with one. That tends to be a pretty common spot to hold. Up close to the wall. He may have gotten a reward as just jumped around the corner there. Obviously you don't get the reward. You get a kill. Maybe a weapon saved forward. Hara gets taken down. His aggression unfortunately doesn't quite go his way. The Zeus not able to shock them. As he's the one surprised from behind. Okay, Acor. Just sprays in a line. Decent idea. Cromwell was spotted coming up close to the smoke. Unfortunately, this leaves us in a bit of an awkward spot. Halzerk's going to try to catch one. I really love to see the Zeus plays coming through. If anything, because it punishes for aggression, but with so many SMGs in play, it's quite likely that Trick to get aggressive. But in towards such a close range angle, it's doubtful. Halzerk hears them all leaving. Knows that his chances are not quite there. Now they're holding long range angle. The closest player to him is Jush. And whilst the Zeus range can be hard to gauge at times, it's definitely not that long. 10 to 8, and Tricked coming through with a bonus round, presumably. They've got lots of SMGs to play with, and we've seen the validity of this kind of buy on the terrorist side. You can play a much faster strategy, especially with full utility. That's where it's most viable. A lot of flashbangs to work with and smokes that can close off angles and close in distances quite quickly, pushing anybody that may have a longer range weapon off of the advantageous spot. One such player, Halzer, coming down towards Banana early on. Lots of Molotovs hitting. He knows no one's going to be peeking it just yet, but tries the deep nade. A good response from them to nade down towards Banana, but that's not the play that's coming through. They're not waiting behind the Molotovs to push the side. Instead, they're making their way straight towards a smoke down on the Molotov, which gives Hara a little bit of an advantage as they peek around that smoke, but eventually the kills go through in favor of the CT side. Tensky holding down in the pit, catches a double and leaves it into a 4 versus 2. The retake has to come in. Bubsky is already taken down. The AK retrieved by Stush as he makes his way towards short. Flash banged up on top of the hay bales, and here comes the peek behind him to shut him down and close the round out for Nordavind now. 4 players left alive, gives them a little bit of stability fiscally. So with their financial situation under control, you have to look over towards Tricked. They're in a similar boat. After getting the bomb plant down, they can easily get themselves a full buy. And again, they played that as a bonus round. They would have liked to find one more kill, but a bomb plant is ideal. It leaves them in a position that obviously they're not suffering too hard here, but if they lose this round, then Nordavind probably reclaim the lead. Early presence towards Banana is actually shut down as Acor gets eliminated straight away. The AWP of Halzerk finds its opening at last. Progressing down though, Bubsky's finding one. He's inside a Molotov when he peeks out, so he's got to be a little bit more passive than that. Malheureusement. I think that's Halzerk back on positive. He's or back even anyways. 4 for 4 in opening duels. One player hit by one of those smokes, so they know he's up close. Nade goes through to try and capitalize some damage on him. It does 2, so not great. Tensky's starting to push up behind. This guy's a playmaker, right? We've seen him so many times coming through smokes over in map number 1 and 2. With the sneaky positions on the CT side, and this time holding through underpass, waiting for Trick to go back, and holding the information for his teammates. At the moment, they can afford to fully rotate, knowing that the majority of the players were in Banana. Now the smokes and flashbangs come through. The peaks one at a time through Molotovs. Hunden comes out on top, though, winning the opening duel at least. Halzerk unable to find it with the AWP, lit down to 32. That Molotov stops him from falling back. He pushes through the smoke, not able to find the shot, and it all ends just like that. 11-9. The round where Nordavind had the opportunity to close it out pretty much, or at least close in the lead, as they would have been 11-9 or 11-10. Themselves. Tricked wouldn't have had any money coming into this one. Instead, Tricked find themselves pushing back, finding a 2-round advantage and putting Nordavind down to a position that they could definitely afford to take Pistol's armor in. But then again, we've talked about it before, force buys on Inferno. It tends to see the highest rate of force buy on the CT side. So many close range angles to work around. And so with only two players kind of struggling for economy, I think you can probably afford to just go for it. I would like to see Hara, though, not having to take a weaker weapon. If he takes armor and drops one to one of his teammates, they could be selfless enough to donate over. But no, they're going to go for the weaker buy instead and keep money for the next round. I mean, even this gives them a decent chance of success. Lots of pistols in play. Deagle, so they've got long and close range capability. MP9 on Rubino, a 5.7 for Hara. These are the kind of buys that you see having a much higher success rate on Inferno in general, specifically on the CT side. Because the CTs get to choose the level of engagement, right? Rip. Halzerk gets lit down to 62 HP by a fantastically placed nade. Unfortunately, it was placed there by Hara, his good old teammate on short. He was scared a little bit by the AK bullets coming up middle. Afraid to peek it, in case he took a little bit of damage. Or indeed got dropped. So as the T side aggress forward, they're taking it nice and slow. They know the buy they're up against. What is that from Tensky, man? The wallbang spam onto Borup. Through the tiniest angle down onto short. You can see the pixel of him. As we're into a 4 versus 3, Tensky's known to be towards this side, and he constantly plays in pit, so this should be expected. Surely it's expected. A-Core down to 26 HP off of that opening duel, and eventually at least he's taken down in pit. Tensky and Croman both fall, leaving Rubino again to pull off a 1v4. Last time he had the bomb and an AK, as well as positional advantage. This time it's a retake with no defuse kit and 34 HP and an MP9 instead of an AK. So not ideal. Very chatty people. Tippity tapping away in chat. But Rubino's out of here. He's playing an exit, hoping to find a rifle as they leave the site. And at least do a little bit more damage towards that terrorist side. One more kill, actually, and Tricked are in a position where both Stush and Bubsky will probably buy up in the next round to donate over weapons. So, for example, if Hunden is taken down, you'll want Bubsky and Stush. Oh, A-Core's died! Look where he's died! He was like 24 HP. What? I think he was 24, if I recall correctly. Oh man, that is a yikes. They've lost the weapon. So now you're gonna see 2 weapons being reinvested into over on the terrorist side, rather, which does put them into a little bit of an awkward spot. Their economy is being managed somewhat, because they could have dropped a weapon, just the one weapon, and left Borup with a little bit of cash, a bit of extra cash to work with, but. Or at least left some cash stacked up so that they could rebuy, but now you're going to have one weaker weapon potentially. It's a small positive for Nordavind, but it builds up over time. If they can perform another round, well, if they perform a win here with killing all their opponents, you'll start to see the benefit of the economic damage that they've obtained in the previous round. Croman comes in with an opening duel. Straight peek over on the B bomb site works out for him. Not even a flashbang in play to make it work. Smoke goes down instantaneously to cut off any attempt at a refrag from Tricked, as they have 3 players in Banana, and you can see the rotation coming down right now as Borup regroups with his teammates. It does look like it's going to be a hit towards B. You can see both counter-terrorists holding down here. Rubino up close with Croman a little bit further back, playing on the bomb site itself. Here comes the push. The molly down. They haven't smoked. Oh, eventually the smoke goes down towards CT. Rubino, cut off by that, is going to have to close in the distance. There was no gap for him to spam. He's got an MP9. Close range. It is dangerous. Spams through, but actually dropped. I thought he'd maybe get out of there alive, but with him falling, Nordavind don't feel like going for a man disadvantage retake with the last scraps of their economy. And never mind the economic damage to Tricked, Nordavind are now being managed in a similar fashion. Luckily, Rubino saved over quite a lot of cash by playing this round with an MP9. He would have gotten the same result whether it was an M4 or an MP9, so it worked out well for him in that sense. And so he'll be able to rebuy, leaving only one player, Croman, a little bit weaker. And again, we've not seen much from Alzerk on the op, really. I mean, he's been involved in 8 opening duels, but only won 4 of them. Really, it's been Hara that stood out in every aspect. Whether it's ADR, the kills in general, opening duels, or indeed 2+K rounds. It's all Hara. He's the one stepping it up massively in this map, but it's just not enough. Missing the usual performance we see coming through from Tensky up towards the top, from Croman, that we've seen in this series as well. The impact is tangible. On the other hand, Borup, although he's not having as good of a time over on the terrorist side, he is still sitting on +3 openings. The real surprise for me, though, is again A-Core struggling early round. Specifically on the CT side, which is obviously the majority of the rounds played. That's where he was most impactful early on. Halzerk now opens it up by taking Hunden down. Finally going positive in opening duels, and Hunden again 1 for 5, 1 for 4 now. Croman and Rubino come through, and the double up setup seems to be working just fine for Nordavind, with 2 kills going down to those scoped weapons. Borup and Acor are the ones trying to pull it back. Acor has been struggling throughout this map, and on the T side up, you can only expect it to get worse, really. Better half is behind him, but he comes through with an opening onto Croman. Still a two-man disadvantage to work around, with double the numbers on the Nordavind side, and the knowledge that there's at least one player up close, but with it being Acor that they spotted, they don't yet know that the bomb is here. They should figure that out. What the hell is Auto Director doing there? They should figure it out quite quickly, as Borup up close with the bomb can go for a plant relatively soon. Acor fakes a rotate back down, but there's nobody close enough to hear those steps. The idea is that they would peek out to catch Borup from over towards First Oranges, but he just peeks straight into CT, finds the kill. Acor waiting for aggression to come through, and it doesn't. A 2v3 post plant. An op on the retake as well. It could work well if you can post on the angle. Borup has been pushed off it by missing those shots. He'll close in on Rubino. Oh, and Rubino going for the peek on the back of the flashbang, but it was behind Borup, so nothing happens. Now into a 2v2. Acor switches over to the SG. The weapon is heard dropping, but they don't think there's a gap in that smoke. They have no idea, and their heads are ripped off by the SGs. Acor swaps over to an M4 there. A bit of a panic as he saw Borup picking up the op. I think everybody just started screaming, double up, double up! Don't do it. Not on the T side. And 14-9 now is not the time to start taking out ballsy plays. They're ahead, but not miles ahead. Nordavind are in a bit of an awkward spot, though. Do they force buy here? I think majority of the time they have, and considering the fact that they can still get out a very good setup. Hauser can take out an AWP with just the body armor out. Hara and Rubino would be a little bit lower, perhaps on SMGs, shotguns, or pistols. See, the real problem is that if you go for the buy, and if you go for the eco in this situation, you're fighting for an overtime at that point, and I think most teams would rather just go straight in for the regulation victory. That's what Nordavind are going for. Keeps a little bit of confidence in the camp. But the problem on the other side of the coin is that if you force buy here, you take yourselves out two disadvantageous weapons. Oh, and you lose the opening duel as well. Hauser back 5 for 5 in openings. And when this happens, when you lose that opening duel, the round is almost over where it starts. I mean, you retrieve the op at least, so that's a massive positive for Hara. But outside of that, if you lose this round, it's done. You have got to force buy for the next round. And then it's a massive road to recovery. You've got to find 6 in a row, something that Nordavind have not done so far. I doubted myself for a second there. But no, they haven't found themselves 6 in a row, 4 at most. So 150% of their best performance has to be obtained. Heavy execute towards the B bomb site. 2 players holding down the boost for Rubino. Might be dangerous. Hara finds an opening on the AWP. Rubino in with 1 as Croman rotates around. They know where he is now as he spams through the smoke. Such an important round for them, but at this point, the call's been made to go for it. They start to rotate over it. 3 versus 3, and I mean, it's definitely worthwhile. But they are quite time limited without a kid in play. To be honest, I would rather see a save at this point. They need to go very, very fast. Hara falls off the bat, smoked out. The op couldn't do anything. Just gets another, and it's all on Tensky to try and pull this back. 1v3, he can't do it. He has no time. He has no kit. They hunt him down. It's just jumping around is going to be eliminated. But can Tensky even get out of here? No, they stick around. They're just waiting. They don't mind losing their weapons. That's the thing. They can sit on the bomb site and make sure he dies and can't exit to CT, because if they die, who cares? They've got like 10k on some players. 10k plus on Hunden. And on Acor. So it didn't matter at all. Happy to die for the cause, as Nordavind now come in with a Deagle, 3 MP9s and a FAMAS. Now this is a map where you'll see force buys be, by and large, more successful. But with the fact that Borup is playing so well, Acor's starting to get stuff done on the AWP, coming back into a reasonably good light here on the terrorist side. And the fact that Nordavind are just looking worse for wear. Oh, that push could be dangerous. There is a smoke down. Bubsky's going to go through it. This is very dangerous against this kind of buy. He knows that they're in weaker weapons. I think he now knows someone's up behind him as well. This is devastating. They're rotating around to A. They think they've got banana control. Croman has no idea. He's taken down. They fast blitz towards the bomb site. Bubsky Hasn't got a smoke, though, but he just straight peeks it. They're not expecting it. How are they not expecting it? He just got... Maybe he didn't know he got killed from behind. That's a really awkward sight now, because Bubsky on the side has got a third. Just in with another, and it's all on to Tensky. 1 versus 4 to try and pull this back. Tricked weren't able to close it out after a great performance on Nuke. But here on Inferno, they finally done it. After Overpass fell apart, I was worried about Tensky pushing through that smoke. I thought he was going to grab it as he avoided the flashbang.